forklift?
Yeah.
You are a son of a bitch.
Un saluto a tutti.
What's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the AJC. And unfortunately, Juventus off the mark in Naples, and that bad run continues. But hey, we'll get it right eventually. But yesterday was not the day, okay? We will tackle everything. There's a lot going on, and my God, it feels like every moment through this game got just magnified, and you had that feeling from early on. But we're going to tackle it all. The news is quiet today, so yeah, we're really going to break down this game, okay, and then get to Storm the Barn questions. But happy to have Ant and Omer with me. Gents, aside from that result, how you doing?
All good, great.
All right.
Sun is shining, birds are chirping. Not as many as the birds that chirp over at his place over there, but hey, let's just get into this. I think people want to discuss this. I don't know how to feel. I'm not sure. I'm still on the fence. I need someone to swing me either way here.
Well, we'll definitely tackle and we'll see. I don't know. I've got a lot of different feelings about this one, okay? And yeah, the finishing, we'll talk about that. But I do want to talk about Max and the staff in general. Players, obviously, Nonge, what happened with him. We're going to get into it all, okay? I'm just going to remind everybody, if you're tuning in on your audio outlets, get over to YouTube, subscribe, all right, if you're listening to this on your audio outlets. Also, 3 ways to support. Obviously, sharing the content goes a long way, and we appreciate when you guys do that, making clips yourselves. We love it. Then, of course, there's the memberships, which you have to be on a desktop to join, and then you get into our private group chat. And then Super Chat is enabled for everybody that has been doing that or choosing one of those ways to support. We appreciate it. And, of course, the merch store, all right? Now, without further ado, let's get to this game. Starting lineup, okay? Very attack-oriented lineup. You know, and of course, McKennie, no Rabiot. It was going to be that way. No Kostic. So Alien Jr. out there. And it was going to be like, okay, let's see what we're going to do. And I thought about it, and I kind of tweeted it out there with that potentially switching into a 4-3-3 when we're on the ball, and maybe slotting Cambiasso higher up since Chiesa was on the left, because our lineup was Szczesny, Rugani, Bremer, Sandro having to come in after Gatti with some personal issues. I guess he lost a friend or whatnot, and that's what was going on his social feed. So we ended up going with Sandro. I actually think Sandro was okay yesterday, so no, I had no problems with his game. Cambiasso, Alcaraz, Locatelli, Meretti, Illing Jr. across the middle. So some concerns about maybe not enough grit and toughness in
concerns.
But it really didn't play out that way. But we'll talk about it. And then Vlahovic, Chiesa up top. So for me, the lineup is like, okay, that's kind of the guys you have. I probably would have started Caviglia. I was saying that before the game. But I got to say, I would have started him for Meretti. And I think Meretti had a good showing for himself, to be quite honest.
Slow start.
So
into the game.
We talked about it pregame, but Omer, what were your thoughts on that lineup going into this one?
I was kind of worried because I thought we were missing some, more defensive power in midfield, but it turned out not to be that way. I was actually pretty satisfied with the midfield. Yeah, Sandro, Rugani, but it also played out well. So yeah, bit the bullet on that one. And besides that, everything was what we expected. It's what we have, basically.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much it. It's what we had. And it was thin. And substitutes. We'll get to the subs later on as we roll into this game. Let's get right to the action, because it's 9 minutes in. Chiesa blocking a ball that was trying to get cleared out, taking it down the right flank, and then crossing in for Vlahovic, taking a look up, crossing it into him, gets the cross, bang on the money. It's over the defender's head. I believe it was Rachmani, and Vlahovic puts this one a certain hair distance away from that back post, okay? And I think Ant knows where I'm going with that one. Got to put that one in. At least hit frame, I'm thinking.
Got to hit the target.
Yeah. Free one like that. Defender jumping up ahead of you. He's got to hit target on that. Omer, agree?
Yeah, that has to be on target.
It's got to be on target. You got to force a stop or something.
Especially I'm at a loss for words already this morning. The way he's been playing, like his current
his form.
way of playing, his current form. Time to wake up. His current form, he like inconsistent with what he's been doing. So yeah, that one stung. That would have been a good start.
I think he's got to put that one at least on target. But it was early in the game.
Some people will say that the defender threw him off jumping up, but
yeah,
I might say, some comfort is that it's the first shot of the game. So maybe sometimes need a bit more, but still, if you want to be top level, that has to be at least on target.
On target.
Yeah. I'd agree. I'd agree with you guys there. And then, this was a really open start to this game, almost frantic, kind of like back and forth and wide open. And it was like, okay, this could be very, very interesting. And then 18th minute, you get the Vlahovic yellow. 26th, you get the Bremer yellow. 28th, you get the Cambiasso yellow. So 3 yellows, almost like back to back to back with Juventus. We do have...
Those are all yellow cards.
What's
Except
that?
for Duson's. Those are all yellow cards. Duson's is...
Bremer's is a yellow. Cambiasso's a yellow. Vlahovic is it was a couple. We're going to get Alberto Nick because I just think... I
think he paid for the earlier tackles on
Bingo.
him. It was his first foul.
That's pretty much it.
It was his first foul. That's why
I think it was protection over Kvaratskhelia because he was eating them, and then all of a sudden it was just Vlahovic's first one on there, so he gets it for those ones. I think you're absolutely right on that. Alberto Nick says, Mariani, the ref here, overall, he says, maybe he didn't pass the eye test for Juve fans, but at the end of the day, the players or the football gods decided this match. Some small mistakes, some questionable positioning at times. He was fortunate there weren't more key match incidents. He consistently let a lot of hard upper body tackles go, maybe a bit too much on both ends. By far not the worst referee performances here. Well, the bar is not set very high. And Nick does give him ultimately a 6 out of 10. So can't be that great. The Vlahovic yellow card, Nick says, it seems as though Vlahovic always gets carded for persistent infringement. 3 successive fouls on Kvaratskhelia. Mariani decided to put his foot down. But where those 3 weren't from Vlahovic, though.
Not a one.
Yeah, so this was technically supportable, he says, although a bit harsh. So he does say a bit harsh. There was no other series of fouls like this throughout the game that tested Mariani's consistency on this metric. The Bremer yellow. Before considering what becomes before this foul, Bremer is carded here for stopping a promising attack. Right before Osimhen recovers the ball, he throws his shoulder right into Bremer's back. Bremer's clearly established his position. Contact his shoulder to back, 100% a foul. Bremer should have sold this one. My issue with that is if he sells it, he takes himself out of position to make the stop if he doesn't get that call. That's kind of...
You rely on VAR. You rely on VAR if he goes and scores. Yeah.
So that's kind of my issue on that one. I'm kind of okay with what Bremer did and not trying to sell it. Agree? Disagree, guys?
Yeah. No, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Because then he's all alone. I think.
It goes over his head. I mean, he's clear and gone. Yeah, I was fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, if it was Sandro, then I'm used to him trying to get the foul and throw himself. But Bremer is not like that. Bremer tries to stay put on his foot. So that was a little push that pushed him off the ball. That should have been a foul, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, those birds thought it was a foul, 1,000%. Now, the Cambiasso yellow card. Okay, so Cambiasso pulls Kvaratskhelia down from behind as he makes a run towards Juve's backline. Unfortunately, a clear stop, promising attack. At this point, Juve's committed 7 fouls to Napoli's 1. That's kind of going through all the carded moments. Other thoughts in general from L'Arbitro Nick, just getting his 2 cents in here. This team is too soft except for Bremer. Bring in the Mourinho tactics and Mario Mandzukic in games like this. Dive and scream on every contact. Don't be so nice to your opponent at every stoppage. Draw blood. Oh, okay. So Alberto, Nick getting fired up here.
There was, I sort of fast forward a little bit in the game, but there was a potential second yellow on Cambiasso. He got away with one. Same sort of foul that he got a yellow on in the first half. So
yeah,
he could have saw his second for sure.
For sure. We get to the free kick off the Bremer foul. Okay, Politano takes a hit, gets it around the wall, but Tech read it nicely. Takes a cover over the rebound too with Zambo and Guisa, a unit running in there full steam. So big on Tech there. 33rd minute, two nice passes. One into Chiesa, breaking the lines, and then Chiesa feeding Dusan Vlahovic here. He's clear. He does everything right except a little too much English, taking this thing off the post. We're talking inches from post and in, instead post and out. In the form Vlahovic is in, yeah, you're banking that's going in the back of the net. That's that was probably.
I'll say the pass was a smidge heavy. It's either the pass was a smidge heavy or he didn't run onto it fast enough because he had to take that like one extra half step, which cut the angle down where he had to chip it. But but to your point, in his current form, I found the word. Let's go. He puts that in the back of the net. Like that's just. That's when I sort of knew. That's when I knew.
I think that one's. Yeah, I'm not banking him on missing that.
Yeah.
I think it was all
that
good.
Was a bit unlucky.
Yeah.
Like you said, 1 inch to the left, and that's post and in. The angle was pretty tough. Like it had to be to the far corner because the keeper covered most of it. A bit unlucky, and if you score that, that's a great finish.
You don't want to shoot it too close to the keeper's shoulder too. So he's trying to put it out there, keep it away from the hand. Unfortunately, as a left footer trying to do that, it's going to have that English that's going away from goal. And unfortunately for him on that hop, it just ends up taking the post and out rather than posting in. That's unlucky there. 42nd minute, Bremer's clearance off of Di Lorenzo's cross in falls to Kvaratskhelia. He volleys it. It hits Cambiasso's foot, goes in off the hop, off his foot. Tech gets a good chunk of it, and then in the side net. I feel like he should have got that. He got enough hand on it. I feel like he could have done a little bit better. I think he knows it too based on his reaction afterwards. It's kind of...
The thing had a lot of smoke on it, though. He hit that full steam.
I don't know, man. Like, it
He's on the 6-yard box, man. Like, what are we talking about here?
No, he's at the top of the area. He's at the top of the area when he hits that. He's like just inside the top of the area, out to the left side for Napoli. And Cambiasso, I don't really blame here. He's dropping back. He's aware of where Kvaratskhelia is, but it didn't have a ton of steam, man. Like, I don't know, like. If a keeper's got that much hand on it, I just expect stop. But again, I wasn't overly upset at it. I just think he could have had it out. You guys are the Tech fucking yin and yang, so you fucking hash out. Omer, am I being too harsh?
I think it's always frustrating when it's like you're near post because you always feel like you should have got it. Like, should have been easier. But it was all a bit unlucky because like Bremer headed it straight to a volley, didn't even have to stop the ball, and then it touches Cambiasso just a bit, and Tech touches it but not enough. I mean, it was all very fast, confusing. I wouldn't blame Tech too much. Maybe he could have done better. But still, always frustrating when it's your near post. That's why it was angry.
But it's the opposite of the Vlahovic goal. They got an inch the other way off the deflection, and then if it doesn't deflect it, maybe that's right at Tech's hand. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Extra stretch, so it's an extra inch that they took advantage of.
If it doesn't deflect, though, it has more heat on it. Like, that's the thing, is like it looked like it took some steam off hitting that foot too.
But I think it was closer to him. It would have been maybe chest or like It wouldn't add.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have to stretch as much for it. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyways,
like-
you can
and
you can make the argument either way.
I'm not blaming tech.
Understood.
Let's make this clear, okay? Not blaming tech, but when keepers have that much mitt on something, I expect it to be kept out.
And
That's
based
all
on,
I'm saying.
And you're saying based on Tech's reaction, he thinks he should have had it too.
Yeah.
Fair
I
enough.
feel like he the way he reacted, he knew, and because of that kind of situation in sports in general, anything you're using your freaking like football, NFL.
Mm-hmm.
The saying is, if you get that much mitts to it, you got to catch it. You got to bring it in.
Catch the ball. Yep.
So it's just one of those scenarios with keepers. But it's not blaming him. We're down 1-0, and this kind of had that feeling when you've already kind of squandered a couple good opportunities. You were going to get bit on the other end. That's unfortunately what happened for Juve.
The timing. It's the timing that was bad, because goals right at the end of the half are a major boost for the second half. That's what sucked.
Well, 2 minutes
it.
later, though, we pressure them, force an error. This one, I'm not settling for anything. Has to be in the back of the net from Vlahovic, 1,000%.
Oh my
horrible.
God.
That's horrible, and he knows it.
This one fucking
Rugani,
hurt.
right? Rugani
This
picked
one
his
hurt.
pocket.
So Swati coming in immediately was unpardonable. Yeah, that one just has to go in. Has to go in. You've got Merritt stuck in no man's land. Frozen. You've got short side wide open. And yeah, he just fucking pulls it a little too much. Misses the short side. That's a killer.
Went for power. He should have gone just to the corner on the ground. I mean, Merritt was nowhere near there. He just went for power, and he didn't even look at the goal, in my opinion.
He did the right thing to hit it right away, like not settle it. So
right
like
away,
right away.
But not the power.
Right thing.
But he just blasted it without aiming. And that was bad.
I didn't realize how much openness, how open the net was when they did the angle from behind Tech, the sort of that angle of the field. It's like, holy sweet Jesus.
Oh, dude, that just, you can't, at that level, I don't give a shit. Like, it's got to be in.
Yeah.
That's your moment. 1-1, kill that momentum from Napoli, kill that vibe, that feeling, the buzz, kill it. And that one just fucking hurt.
Yeah.
It just
If
hurt.
The first one should have been on target. This one should have definitely been on target.
Yeah. We get to the second half. 60th minute, Miretti sends Vlahovic through. This time Merritt with the stop. This one a little too close to Merritt, and makes the stop there. 66th minute, you get Weah in for Cambiasso. He was very lucky he didn't get sent off just before this, so you knew the sub was coming because he was tugging on Kvaratskhelia after Kvara turned him very nicely out on the flank there. Cambiasso got away with one there. I actually was expecting, the way the game was going, for him to see second yellow. But luckily...
Did you skip over the 52nd minute with Cambiasso's miss at the back post?
Oh, yeah. That's a big one, too. Was that 52nd? Yeah, 52nd minute. You're right.
Chiesa, when he flipped it over the defender, I think it was Politano, he flipped it over him, came in, and it was one pass in, back to the top to Locatelli, and then over to Cambiasso. Oh my God.
Yeah. Luca finding Cambiasso, back post, and that's got to, again, hit the target. Net. Hit the target.
Like, why are you so stressed? Why is everything has to be like full blast? Just shoot it and hope it goes in the net. He had, acres of space. He had lots of time to put it wherever he wanted.
Yeah.
It was a lot easier than the Chiesa goal, by the way.
Yeah. Now, we'll keep it going now. So Miretti sends Vlahovic through. Mer makes up. Weah comes in for Cambiasso. Cambiasso fortunate. He was still in the match there. 76th minute. 76th minute. Yildiz in for Illing Jr. Switch to 4-3-3. Nonge comes in for Miretti. And to be honest, I was saying for a while, from around like the 65th minute, like our mids they need to look for some fresh legs. Max needs to look for some fresh legs. But I wasn't at the point of taking Miretti out. I was actually thinking I'd take Alcaraz out because they both made some errors and stuff. But I thought Miretti was way more into the game than Alcaraz was. And I would have changed Alcaraz. But I would have also done so a lot sooner than the 76th minute. I had this feeling like we needed some energy in there, and Napoli had made changes. Zielinski was one of them coming into the midfield. Were you guys feeling the same way? Like the mids needed some fresh legs there?
I made a note. Go ahead, Omer.
I thought Alcaraz looked done by the 50th minute.
Yeah.
I thought he was out. And yeah, Max needed to realize it's not Rabiot and McKennie. They don't have the same engine, and they needed replacing. Although I thought they did well for the first half at least, and trying to play through the center and less through the wings. But Allegri gonna Allegri.
Yeah, I just like I said, I just thought it should have come a little bit sooner with the mids, and I did think Alcaraz was the one that was a little bit not on point as much as Miretti. That's all. Miretti had his moments too, though.
We weren't doing anything, but neither was Napoli, right? So I think maybe that's what Max was banking on. Like they weren't. It was a shitty game in the second half. Like no one was doing anything either way up until like the 75th minute. Up until Chiesa's goal, it really wasn't like we weren't under any threat. We weren't threatening them. So I agree, maybe an earlier change, but I don't think Max was feeling any sort of like the team was under any sort of siege or anything.
Yeah.
He was trying to buy some more time, knowing what he had on the bench.
As for Nonge or Caviglia, guys, take your pick. I mean, you haven't seen a lot of either one of them. I would have been fine either way, saying, obviously Caviglia, more experience, Serie A and whatnot. Sure, you can make that argument, but if we were looking at Miretti changing up, I did think Nonge was more of the profile towards taking Miretti off. So I could understand that from Max and his point of view. But we keep going.
The reason for that, in my opinion, is that because he wasn't planning on, changing midfielders with midfielders. He wanted to bring Yildiz on for one of the midfielders. That means changing formation. And I don't think he wanted to play like for 30 minutes with a formation they don't know and more attacking wise, because then he's open to goals. That's why I think he postponed it. I don't agree with it, but he didn't have a lot of options either way.
No,
and what we did wasn't working.
Because Yildiz took out Illing Jr. He took out our left wing back to come out there and make the trident with Vlahovic and Chiesa. Nonge just came in for a straight swap at a midfielder position, Miretti, which he is. And Nonge is supposed to be technical, very good, offensive-minded and whatnot. But again, you just haven't seen him. We're going to get to the Nonge thing a little bit later. 80th minute. Through all this, and I was kind of ragging on the team for another poor second half, in my opinion. Attitude-wise, like, did this team look in the second half like it was 1-0 down in a big game, in the first big game of a big critical month? For me, no. The attitude wasn't there. The desire didn't look like it. But right as I'm ragging on them, a little 1-2 exchange between Alcaraz and Chiesa. Chiesa shoots through a maze, and he gets it in there, 1-1. I'm losing it. I'm like, okay, we have a chance to steal this thing. Get after it. Smell blood. But 4-3-3, 3-5-2, whatever the hell you guys want to talk about, it really doesn't change anything, because we sat back after in a 4-3-3 after we go 1-1 up, and the attitude, the push, the drive from the back, this is something I'll get into after, it just wasn't there. And overall, like I said, we find ourselves in this moment where we make a challenge in the area. It is the youngster Nonge who gets looked at after the referee had called nothing on the play. He clearly stepped on the ankle there. It's a foul. It's a PK. Szczesny makes the save. This is the shit I can't deal with. If you are a Juventus player, a defender especially, and you're standing on that line of the 18, and you don't have a single Napoli player next to you or anywhere across that area, are you not taking a look like, where are these fucking guys?
Where did they go?
Are you not watching that they're going to take this 4-yard run up and blow right by you? Are you not going to try and block lanes? They're oblivious, as if they're the only fucking guys on the pitch. That's just brutal. That's just fucking brutal.
I did mention in the pregame that up until this game, we've given up 0 PKs this season. That's the first PK we've given to an opponent this season, which is pretty surprising considering it's match day 27.
Which was funny because you said that's not going to jinx it. But
I don't believe in that shit. But
I don't believe in it either. It like I said, unfortunate moment. But what pissed me off more than all of it, Nonge, all this, was the fact that these guys, okay, and the guy standing in that line, Bremer, Sandro, like, figure it the fuck out. Figure it the fuck out. Take a look over your shoulder. Locatelli standing there on the top of the semicircle. Look, not one of these guys has the fucking wherewithal at that moment. They had already given up. They had already given up on tech. They had already given up on the moment. And that's just fucking unacceptable.
I saw a lot of people, because I was running the main yesterday. I saw a lot of people before that PK saying Tech's going to stop this. And I was like, he's going to stop this shit. He is a good PK goalie.
He's a good PK
Unfortunately, someone put on here, and I think it was in this chat, I saw it. He wasn't planning on Osimhen having that shit of a PK to hit him in the nipple to spill it that much. Right? That was a terrible PK.
I just can't get over that kind of shit. That to me tells it just really opens your eyes to where this team is up here. Still up here, still the focus not razor sharp, and since Empoli, it's just been this thing. And Vlahovic coming out after the game and saying it and calling it. Saying since Empoli, we've lost a lot mentally. Guys, it's what we've been saying. Like, they're not the same team. The confidence level isn't there. While there were some chats about the defense, because now this is 6 games we've conceded, okay? But I actually didn't feel the defense was that bad in yesterday's game.
Yeah, I see somebody like here. Bremer was having a rough game. Like, what are we talking about?
Bremer made... I feel Bremer made Osimhen invisible this game. Like, he didn't really take part in anything.
Marked him out of the game.
Yeah, marked him right out of the game. Left his teammates to deal with Kvaratskhelia out on the other flank, which I think overall we did do a good job. Like I said, Cambiasso, a little bit too much space on that volley, but he's defending him. He's aware of where he is. Nice hit from Kvara. I think defensively, we didn't suffer in switching a midfield to something way lighter and way more offensive-minded. Like, I didn't feel the defense was that bad at all, to be honest, despite the 2 goals conceded. And when you look at him, look at Kvara's hit. Look at, it was still a good hit. I think, based on how much hand he got, probably saved, but that's a good hit. That's a nice strike. When you look at the PK, okay, unfortunate situation, but defensively, I was fine with it. I was fine with our midfield. So for me, this game, 2 things. Execution, piss fucking poor when it comes to finishing. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You generated more than enough to win this game, okay? You did. But what I don't like, and where that's on players, 1000%. On coaching and the staff, this is yet another game, okay? During this stretch of 6 games, and all but one of them. So 5 out of these 6 fucking games. This is another second half where there is no adjustments. And the things that are working for you in the first half, we seemingly don't continue for God knows what reason. If you look at the opportunities Juve generated, okay? even in only having 29% possession, which is fucking crazy. But we can deal with that when you're creating that much, right? Because you're still creating enough to win. You created a lot of those chances from the pressure. Even Locatelli at moments was getting up there, forcing errors out of Napoli, and then our guys were turning, and they were able to do so quickly because of the guys you had in the midfield and their passing ability. It was all kind of working, but my biggest problem is you don't have this attitude, this shift. Like I said earlier, in the second half, 1-0 down in a game, it's a big game. It's a big month ahead of us in March. This team came out flat as you could fucking be. And that for me is brutal. That's on the coaching staff, okay? Not doing what we needed to do. The D-line, how many times do you see our players up front doing one of these? Looking over their fucking shoulder, not knowing if they can actually push forward to challenge the ball. The D-line needs to grab the fucking bull by the horns there and push these guys forwards. Push the mids forward. You don't need 5 guys standing around one fucking player at the back when they're with the ball at their own backline. Move your team forward. And for a coaching staff, if they are given the direction and these players can't follow it, then I don't even know what to say. But our press, when we did it properly, worked fantastic. But for large parts of that game, it was 3 guys pushing and the rest a mile fucking back there standing there watching. Unacceptable. Like, look at what's working for the first half. Make the adjustments. Attack in the second half. Your second half should be better. You should have more of an idea how you're going to hurt a team. So for me, coaching and the staff has to take a little bit of flack for that. That's my thoughts on this one.
That's
Omer?
not new. That's not new. I've been at least complaining about it, about the distances between the midfield, the attack, and the defense, and no one is pushing together, and there's no reason to sit so deep while the attackers press. Either you all drop back or you all press, but it's been going on for the past 3 years. That's something that is Allegri's play style. Doesn't want to give up space at the back because maybe Napoli are fast and opens himself to just counterattacks and stuff. But still, you have to move as a unit, and those spaces give the other team a lot of time to pass the ball and trying to find lanes and move around between the lines. And honestly, Napoli are not good this season, not offensively and not defensively. And we just gave them enough time to figure out what they want to do, and eventually it hit us. Now, I don't think the defense was bad. I actually think the defense did great. Considering it's Sandro, Rugani, and Bremer, I thought they did well. And we had more chances than Napoli, even though they had like 60-something possession. So, I don't know. I don't think that it's something that's going to change. It's just what Allegri does. He doesn't like to press with everyone.
I didn't hear Rugani or Sandro's name the whole game. So I think that's more on Napoli not creating anything, because our defense didn't have to do much other than Bremer. He had his hands full. Like, that poor prick. He had his hands full yesterday. But Rugani and Sandro were not even involved. So is that more on Napoli not coming forward, or
No,
I'm
thought
still
that
confused on how to feel about this game. I'm still kind of up in the air. Like, what the hell? Like, what the hell did I just see? Should have been
I
6-2.
think it was positioning. Like, Sandro and Rugani managed to not touch the ball and make it go out for a throw, and they covered their players well, so there weren't a lot of passing options to Politano and Kvaratskhelia. And so they didn't have to tackle a lot. Bremer did most of the tackling and the interceptions. They just covered the ground. But I gotta say, I'm really starting to hate Osimhen, the way he just acted on the pitch. But I love it because I think Bremer fucking hates him. And I love that.
I don't think they like each other at all. Like, even in the slightest.
And that's like old school. I miss the times where players hated each other, and you can feel that on the pitch. And those guys hate each other, and I actually love it.
Bremer was reminding me of Chiellini a bit there. The extra grabs, the extra tugs on the shirt, and then you see Osimhen trying to break his arm off, and Bremer's not having any of it. And I just loved every second of it.
Yeah. It took him out of the game mentally.
Yeah. Defensively, I was fine with our team yesterday. Like I said, though, You have to figure out what's working best against your opponents match to match, and you have to. That's like I expect that from any coach and a coaching staff to make the proper adjustments. That's not even a personnel thing. When we're talking about just pressure, the pressure was working with that midfield. It wasn't robust whatsoever. But when they were pressing together and they evened out and almost manned up against Napoli, that's what Allegri doesn't like. Allegri likes his zones. That's why you get certain presses, but then the coverage. So you have like this kind of 3-4 guys going, but always that zone of protection that if they get it out to this area, we'll just sit back and cover it. But when we manned them up is when we generated and we were getting the turnovers. Risky business? Depends how you look at it. The way Bremer was playing yesterday, I don't think it's risky business. The way he's been playing this season, I think he's a guy you could fall back on. The way Rugani has been playing, I think you could fall back on it. Like, you could do that. You could do that. You could press a little bit more.
Yeah, we're missing Danilo. Danilo covers a lot of ground and he covers spaces. I mean,
but overall, I think it was refreshing seeing a midfield like that. And two things that I said out of this game, I hope that Max realizes you don't have to be so robust all the damn time. I hope he also realizes that we didn't lose this game, and people misunderstood this comment. I said, I hope he realizes you don't have to die on a hill for guys that aren't producing. Keep it moving. That was my one big takeaway out of this game. Agree, disagree.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my Storm the Barn questions, but I don't know if we want to finish up on the late substitutions, finish up on the game. Or
we got a lot still going, but yeah, just this. He doesn't have to die on a hill with guys.
Moving forward, I was just going to add on to that a little bit. Is there someone who played in this game that you're like, he's a starter now? I think the one that stands out now is Illing Jr. He's him and Chiesa on that side, like, has to start. Was there anybody else who
I thought so too.
Did Rabiot or McKennie lose their starting spot to anybody yesterday? Sorry.
Midfield-wise, no. I wouldn't say so. Not because they weren't good. It's just I know Max is not going to let them, be the starters and bench Rabiot and McKennie. They're his boys this season. And they've done relatively well up until January. They were good. McKennie, we talked about him. We concluded the first half of the season, and some named him as our best player or most improved player. But I think we kind of got figured out by other teams. And Napoli were a bit surprised, because they didn't know what to expect from Alcaraz and Miretti. And I think Allegri needs to give that some more opportunities for players. And Illing for Kostic, easily. I didn't feel he was missed defensively, and I think he was better holding the ball and playing together with Chiesa, way better than Kostic.
Well, this is the thing I'm saying. You can't die on a hill with guys. McKennie, I've been saying the whole time, right wing back. I'd even have Cambiasso as left side with Chiesa, to be honest. But McKennie deserves to be in the lineup. I just don't think at the midfield. Rabiot, you can have a Rabiot in the middle of the park, but it sure shows you how things change. Juve's been figured out for some time now. Outside flank play, and then when they're forced into the middle, the guys aren't there. But guess what? Yesterday, the guys were there. The guys that could pass. The guys that had creativity, that had vision. The execution wasn't, definitely for Alcaraz, was not always at the level it needed to be. Miretti struggled too, some bad decisions. Okay, but still, that changes everything, because now when you're forced to go through there, these guys can make those tight passes. They can look for those through balls. They can play a 1-2. It changes the dynamic drastically. So
honestly, what I would do is move McKennie to the right, play Alcaraz in his position, because it was a lot easier for Juve with an attacking midfielder, and move Cambiasso to the left.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I would play McKennie right wing back. I would have Cambiasso on the left. I'd have Alcaraz in the middle, because you need at least one guy that isn't scared to play in tight, close passing, and try to have some vision there. But overall, I don't think anybody's necessarily going to lose their job over this, but you know,
I would bench
man
Rabiot.
of the match, guys.
I would
Man of the
bench
match.
Rabiot out of all those. I'd bench Rabiot out of that. I'd put Cambiasso on the left and Illing Jr. out wide on the left. I'd keep Cambiasso on the park.
You put Cambiasso in the middle of the park for Rabiot?
Yep.
Midfield?
Yep.
Mid-Sala? Okay.
Interesting.
Rabiot
Man of
hasn't
the match.
done much this year. He hasn't been terrible, but he hasn't done anything moving forward.
So we got Bremer from Luca. We got Vince with Chiesa. Swati Chiesa. Chiesa was my man of the match. Chiesa. Anth?
Bremer.
Yeah.
Not even close for me.
One shout for Medetti there. Omer, who's your man of the match?
Yeah. I think it's Bremer
Bremer? Yeah.
to me.
It was
I mean,
We
maybe
all,
Locatelli.
we all have a good defenseman on this show.
I saw Locatelli getting some flack, but he had his hands full. I mean, didn't have any defensive midfielders next to him. He had a lot of work.
Here's another thing I want to talk about. We're talking about one of the guys that got a lot of votes for man of the match. That's Fede Chiesa, okay? And I'm not saying he shouldn't. I think he was extremely dangerous. We said he was going to have to be dangerous. He's our most dangerous player. He needs to look it. He was on. He was on yesterday. He touched the ball 31 fucking times.
That's
Yeah,
unbelievable. I couldn't believe that stat.
That's not good enough. And that's what I mean with second half adjustments. He had close to 20 in the first half. That's not good enough. So how do you watch this game? How do you see the rhythm, the form he's in, and go to the second half and not do anything to find him more often? Like the staff has to take a little bit of responsibility for this type of shit going down. You can't have the guy that's looking the most dangerous on your team touch a ball 31 times in its complete fucking 90 minutes. It's just
Entirety.
I can't deal with that.
I got that one.
And we had a lot of complaints about Chiesa just hogging the line and not playing centrally and just wanting to be a winger. Do you feel like it was different this game? Like he played more centrally?
His heat map was a fucking dartboard. Just everywhere, spots everywhere. It didn't have like set rhythm, set flow or whatever. I thought it was kind of sporadic, and I don't know if that was because of the fact Miretti moves around so much. He's in the middle all of a sudden. Alcaraz moves around a lot. Like it was weird. It was like Chiesa didn't know where he needed to find his spaces and whatnot. It was very, very strange looking at his heat map. The 4-3-3.
His goal came from the right.
This is what this is what I laugh about with the 4-3-3, because we make that switch. He comes in. He's in the area, top right, has a hit. It's a goal. See what I mean? 4-3-3. He's up the right. He's essentially got to the top of the area. Are we saying he doesn't get to the... This is why I laugh with this positional thing. Are we saying he doesn't get to the top of the area when he's playing as a front two forward? He's still getting the ball in those areas. Whether it's left wing, right wing, whatever. He just flat out has to do shit like that. Yesterday, Chiesa was actually dangerous. He was dangerous. He didn't... There was challenges. He fought through. He wasn't playing the Barella card and fucking pissing and moaning and hitting the turf. It was a different Chiesa. It was a Chiesa we needed. Ravanelli's words maybe stuck with him a bit. He said, holy shit, yeah, I need the better attitude. I saw it. I liked it. We need more of it. But
I think we need to utilize him more because he can play on both flanks. And I don't think we do that enough. Yesterday, we finally moved him to the right when Yildiz came in, and his goal came from the right, and maybe it's a bit more natural to him, but it's a tool that we're not using enough.
I actually think it has nothing to do with what we are dictating. He has complete freedom. I think the reason he was moving to the right a lot is because Cambiasso was over there, and he tends to go to where Cambiasso is a lot. But we'll see what happens. I think even in this defeat, though, there's promising signs. Like you could see, like Max just has to get out of a little bit of his comfort zone for sure. And it's all right. But overall, I'm still standing firm on the quality of this side, you guys, and still needing some tools, some pieces to go further and beyond. But we'll see what we can do. Allegri, Giuntoli with some interesting words ahead of the match yesterday, and you knew this was going to be taking some heat. Giuntoli before the game says nothing has changed with Max's renewal. We will discuss in due time. We are pleased with what he is doing. We are moving forward without any issues. You guys buying into that? There is an extension coming, or do you think it's just media?
No, media.
Yeah.
In my opinion, media, everything will be judged on how we end the season. I mean, if we somehow manage to be out of the top 4 and lose the Copa without any big team in it, yeah, of course they'll reconsider it. They're not going to bank on something they said in February.
Yeah. And just media?
Well, we talked about this yesterday. Like, there's nothing coming out of Juventus. So I think that's just him just saying, listen, there's no issue here. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, they asked him about Max. What do you want him to say?
Exactly.
We're thinking about firing him. He didn't want to answer that question anyway.
Yeah. He's and the reason I'll always lean to this is because of this. With Giuntoli and fans, obviously, when you hear that we're pleased with what he is doing, we're moving forward without any issues. Obviously, the natural reaction would be like, this is what we're pleased with, whatever. Giuntoli has already shown us that he'll go off the radar and he'll hit you out of left field.
He's giving anybody anything to talk about.
Exactly. This is with all things. And what did I say yesterday that I heard out of Turin? What did my guy tell me? Expect absolutely anything to go down. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. He does feel that Juve already knows what decision they are going to make either way. So we'll wait and see here. In terms of the Nonge thing, we got to get to this. A youngster, fans fired up after the PK, the substitutions. We go back to those substitutions. Milik came in the 91st for Alcaraz. Danilo ended up coming in for Nonge. So both your midfielders gone. So the typical excuse for Max making that change was, well, you pulled midfielder out, or you wanted a striker in to get an extra striker in there to try and chase this game, whatever. So you pull a midfielder. We pulled both our fucking midfielders. We pulled 2 midfielders. So Danilo coming in for Nonge, that's our second midfielder because Milik took Alcaraz out too. So I'm not buying that. Max knows for whatever reason he wanted to do that change. The kid was in there for 14 minutes. He did make a mistake. He's got to be held accountable for. I don't believe Max made the change because of that mistake.
100% agree.
He didn't
100% agree.
Yeah, I don't think he made that change for the mistake. Now, people saying Max shouldn't have even started or shouldn't have even called Nonge into this game. It's the Maradona. It's a big one in March this season. Listen, based on what was going on in the build-up to this, no McKennie, no Rabiot, it was only going to be Cavilli. You were only going to have 2 midfield subs. The chances of him finding the pitch were extremely high. I'm not having
very,
that
very
he
high.
was unprepared to step into this game. He made a mistake. Max made a decision. I have no idea what the thought process was on Danilo coming in there. He ended up playing in the midfield, whatever. But it's not so much that it went down. It's the follow-up, and it's the discussion that Max, I can guarantee you, would have had with Nonge. That is going to be what's most important, is how he follows that up. But whatever reason Max had, it's not because of the mistake, in my opinion. I don't see that.
I think it's 0% chance he subbed him because of the mistake.
Yeah. And Omer?
I really hope because I was angry about that. I didn't like that substitution at all. I think it sends a bad message if it was because of the mistake. But either way, I mean, it's frustrating until you get some minutes and being subbed off after just 14 minutes. I don't think it will do any good to Nonge. It'll take maybe a bit more time to build his confidence back. Maybe they hashed it out. I have no idea. I'm just guessing, but I thought it was redundant. I didn't
When
think you
was
need
the
to take
last
him out.
time Max did that to a youngster to blow up his confidence?
Yeah,
He's never
that's
done it.
exactly it. It's not a Max thing to do that,
It's not his thing for him. It's not
which
something he
was
does. So I
weird.
don't know why people think
I
he
don't
did
think it has
because of that
anything to
reason.
do with the mistake. I really
I,
don't.
I really hope it doesn't, but I didn't like it either way. I thought it was redundant.
And honestly, Suarez brought that up. We missed the Rugani miss late in the game too. Holy shit, that was another
Oh,
one, 6 yard box.
Forgot about that
Just
one.
oh, thanks for
But
picking
he's a
at the
defender.
scab, Suarez.
Does he get any slack because he's a defender
No,
and it's his left foot?
No,
No, okay,
no,
fair
it's
enough.
a professional football player. No,
no.
You're a
You
professional
direct that
footballer,
ball
fair enough.
towards that goal. Just gotta direct it towards goal. If it gets stopped, okay, whatever. But Jesus Christ, man. Yeah,
I was just shocked.
This
that it came on the
Nonge thing
ground straight
too,
in.
talking about a player being broken and all this and the confidence shot, like it's so overboard and extreme. Listen, these guys, it's already tough as it is to be at Juventus, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And all the scrutiny and all this, we don't need to add to it by, all this shit too. It's going to be fine. He's not the first player to get, and he got 14 minutes. I could give you examples of guys getting subbed at 3 minutes, 4 minutes. That shit's embarrassing. I never felt embarrassed for Nonge yesterday with what happened because it just seemed like Max was doing something chasing that last goal. I don't know why though, because personally I wouldn't have done it because he took both midfielders out and you left just Locatelli with Danilo and everybody else was forward. So I wouldn't have done it, but I never felt like embarrassed for Nonge, and I didn't think, oh God, this is gonna break the kid like this. No, like he's got a ton of future ahead of him. The thing with Max is we're getting into questioning a man manager, something that everyone can agree he's good at. And Vlahovic came out after the game and said he's been great with all the young guys. Nobody brought up the switch with Non. Nobody said shit about it, whatever. And people are making this thing this fucking huge mountain, whatever. It's fine. It's the
We had bigger problems yesterday.
Yeah, it's the decisions that happen after it that we'll that are up to Max and whatever to sort out. But
either way, I think he'll compensate him. He'll get a start soon. Maybe not against Atalanta because that's a tough match, but I think he'll compensate him.
He did it with Fagioli last year, right? Remember Fagioli? I don't think he put Fagioli in and took him out, but he went back to the kid. He heard his confidence, right? Whatever changed, and then he put him right back in the next game.
Yeah, Nonge will get an opportunity to redeem himself. Mark my words, 100%. It's fine. 4-3-3. Shouts for 4-3-3. Do we move to 4-3-3?
Yeah, I think Max has been experimenting because we see it. Now we know that he's going to change Yildiz with one of the midfielders and change the formation. He's done it for the past, 5-6 games maybe. I think he's moving in that direction. I don't think we'll see it, from the beginning. He's too stubborn and has too much on the line to risk it.
When you have 5 points in 6 games, you got to change something. And I'm not saying change the manager because I think that's some people put in here. Hey, look what happens when you bring De Rossi in. You can okay. I'm not talking about mid-table clubs. They can do whatever they want. At the top, you don't change your manager mid-season. It can go sideways more than it can be positive. Look at Napoli again. I don't want to talk about a mid-table club, but Max has to change. Something has to change. I don't think. I just think it's formation-wise, something's got to change. You got to try something different.
I just think it opens more options for this team and for some of these players. And the 3-5-2 is very, just it is what it is. Those players can play in those positions, and that's it. And with the 4-3-3, you can have a bit more experiment. You can play Ealing on the left, maybe a bit further up top, or maybe just a sort of a left back. You can use Cambiaso in attack, Wea in attack. And there are different options there when you play that way.
I think that yesterday actually showed why formation is blown out of proportion in my personal fucking opinion. It really is. It comes down to the guys you have out there and what they're doing. Our dynamic changed tremendously just in having Miretti and Alcaraz in the middle of the park. having guys with the ability to make passes in tight and not be scared to do them. Like I said, execution out of the equation, it was night and day. When a team figures you out that you like to be wide and go out that flank and they want to overload a flank, well, you got to play through the middle. We were able to do that. We haven't been able to do that with who we usually go with. So even if you're going to give me a 4-3-3, but you're going to slap McKennie and Rabiot in those two midfield spots, I don't see this being the make or break for this team. It comes down to personnel and what they can bring and what they can do. Your roles have to be fulfilled, okay? And if we're looking at teams across that we want to compare to whatever, one of the highest firing teams, Inter, plays a 3-5-2. We generated a shit ton of chances, enough chances to have that game sealed in the first half yesterday in a 3-5-2. It's blown out of proportion.
That's what's most frustrating. That's what's most frustrating because overall, I think it was one of Juve's better games offensively. The chances we got, like in any different game, I mean, they should bury them. I get it. It's the Maradona. It's Napoli. Maybe the stress. The youngsters are maybe not up to it yet to decide those games. But it was frustrating because for the first time in a long time, we see Juve actually getting into good chances, not accidental chances, and they just couldn't put it in. They deserved the win. Juve lost the game yesterday. Napoli didn't win it. Juve lost it.
Yeah. Prime example of what I was talking about during the game, Vidat. We play 3-5-2 defensively, and that is what makes a problem. Yesterday, though, when that pressure was ramped up from us, it wasn't defense. We were generating a ton and whatnot. It's finding this balance. It's finding this harmony amongst the roles being fulfilled and your aggression. You can't just... You could play a 4-3-3 and sit back like we did when we were 1-1. We equalized and sat right the fuck back. That was a 4-3-3. This formation thing for me is blown way out of proportion. It's just about finding the roles and finding the guys to do it. When we have McKennie and Rabiot there, we usually ask, who's pulling the strings? Who's creating? How many preview shows have we done, Ant, where I said, man, we're going to have to play through the middle because they mirror us in a 3-5-2. How many games? A ton. And we don't have the capability of doing that. It's always going to be down to the players, everybody. It's always going to be down to the players. I will tell you. We can argue that a 4-3-3 gets you guys in more favorable positions for themselves. Okay. But I even think that is a far cry given our actual roster. I even think that's a far cry. Cambiasso, I think, is right at home. Chiesa's got complete freedom. He's just got to find space and fucking attack it. Like, Illing Jr. can play out on it. He should have been getting more minutes. Kostic has been abysmal this year. It's that shit. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about, where Max has to own up and realize you don't have to die on a hill for anybody.
I thought Illing was good for 90 yesterday.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe didn't know the legs, but...
The only thing I want to see a bit different with the formation change is just one less defender and one more attacker. Because when we have three defenders, only two guys, then we just succumb to the pressure and we let the other teams control it. So we need another body back. But if we can control the game more and have more possession, because that has become a theme now with Juve, you just don't hold possession. I want to see a bit more options. I don't want to see Cambiasso and Illing having to run all game back and forth. Maybe when Gatti is there, because he pushes a bit more high, then Cambiasso could stay further up. But I want to see someone else, a natural attacker, joins the attack and not like a defender or midfielder. Because the midfielders aren't cutting it.
Maybe this guy right here. How about this one right here?
Higuain.
Bring Morata back.
Higuain! Okay. Lineup for Atalanta. A lot are saying keep it the same.
Don't change a goddamn thing.
Wait, are we on the Storm the Barn? Because there's a question about
We're getting to Storm the Barn. This is the first one. Lineup for Atalanta. Keep it the same. Yes or no?
Same thing. Same
Ant
lineup.
says yes.
I don't know because I don't know who would be available. I would still play either McKennie or Rabiot ahead of Miretti if they're available. Now McKennie might be. I don't think Rabiot will. But yeah, Ealing for Kostic easily.
Rabiot's
Yeah,
definitely
so
not going to
nothing to
be in that
change.
game.
And then I would prefer Alcaraz right now from what he offers in attack.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Would you?
I'm fine with that. McKennie, if
What if
McKennie gets
Danilo's
back,
ready?
which
would you
I
put
don't
Dani-
expect either because it's 3 weeks apparently for both of them. I'm fine with the exact same lineup heading out there.
Oh,
I'm
Dusan's
absolutely
suspended.
fine with it.
So you got
Now,
to put Milik in.
Yeah, no
Oh,
Dushan. That's the
no
problem.
Yildiz
Duchan, so
and-
you got to make a change there. It'll be Milik.
I'd put Yildiz and Chiesa up top.
That's interesting. I thought about it too.
Yildiz and Chiesa?
Yeah, I'd start both.
Wow.
I thought about it too. It sounds interesting.
Wow.
Try something different. Like, what are we talking
I don't
about
know
here?
how the two of them would work together. It's interesting. Against Atalanta too is because if it goes wrong, I mean, you could always make a change, and then Max could get absolutely lambasted for it. But we'll see what happens. That's interesting. It's interesting.
Just gotta surprise our opponents. We make it
Like we
easier
did
for
with
them.
the midfield. They weren't expecting Alcaraz. Now, Meletti had a terrible start yesterday. Like, holy shit! But he really grew into that game.
Yeah.
Like that, and you brought up a good point, bro. That really threw Napoli off. Why would we start those two? Because they're expecting us to start Milik, big strong number 9 with somebody else. Why not start both of them?
Be interesting to see. We would have to. So in my head, I'm just gonna leave the storm the barn here. We'll get to it, Swarit. In my head, I'm thinking that only works if we don't sit back defensively, because if you do, you have no target guy. Absolutely none. So it has to be matched with proper aggression. And we have to fight for control. That you want to control the game if you have those two guys up top. Otherwise, it's useless. And I don't know, because we haven't really fought for that or tried to do that enough this season. So it'd be a tough one. It would be interesting as hell, and I'd love to see it if we can control the game enough. But I don't know.
The thing is, I think we're playing to Atalanta's hands because Milik is not very mobile, and because Atalanta are pressing very high, we need some mobile players in there who move around and move the defense a lot, and I don't think Milik can offer that. So that would be interesting if he decides to start Yildiz. He wouldn't, but if he decides to do that, I would love to see what they can do
But
together.
that's why I think like having the midfield the same is going to be big against Atalanta, because they will accommodate and move around so much. Cambiasso as well, Ealing Jr. as well. You keep teams on their toes with guys on both sides that aren't afraid to kind of go 1v1 or whatever. And Cambiasso has a great in-swinging cross off the right side. Ealing Jr. can take guys on 1v1. That throws a big wrench in things, and that's where these guys can find their freedom. Guys like Chiesa, etc. But up top, it's that's I don't know how the two of them work together. I could see the two of them as wingers in a trident, but we'll see. What would be your starting midfield against Atalanta? Same midfield. Would you start a trident of Fede, Yildiz, and Milik? 4-3-3 question. 3-4-3, I guess you could also go. I'm not against Yildiz making a diamond midfield for us and playing just behind Fede and Milik. I'm not against that.
Try it.
I'm not against that. Having Locatelli, but and Alcaraz kind of showed yesterday he could probably play a double pivot next to him, but Caviglia could also do it. I'm not against that, but I think we could probably work off what we did yesterday, and I probably feel a little bit better than that.
I'm a bit scared with it because Atalanta's midfield is better than Napoli's this season. I mean, they are beasts. Ederson, Coop Miners, even if they bring on the Rune, yeah, those guys are physical, they're fast, they have great ball control. I'm more worried about playing, experimenting with the midfield. It's my dog.
Is someone's stomach growling, or is that a dog? I can't.
No, it's my dog. He's making noises because it's the time I have to take him out. No, he wants to go out. He needs to pee.
That's funny. All right. Yeah, I hear you with Atalanta's midfield and whatnot, but I don't know. I'd like to see it at one point. Yildiz as an advanced mid just to see. But who do you want to see wear number 10 next year and why Felipe Anderson? Jokes aside, Yildiz, I want the number 10 vacant.
No one.
Period.
Absolutely no
Yeah,
one.
nobody.
But I think Juve are going to use it maybe to keep Chiesa at the club.
Yeah.
Give it to Bremer. I don't give a shit. Who cares? Let's just start winning some games.
No, Bremer gets a number 3, but leave the 10 vacant.
I don't care.
Fuck your grumpy aunt. Smarten up. Answer a fucking
This number
question.
thing drives me nuts. Like it's gonna magically like transform a player into something that they aren't. Like what the?
No, it's not about that. It's just it's symbolic. It's who you're. It's who you're
Chiesa.
trying to
There you go.
like
Take it.
state a claim. Like give the 10. It should mean something at Juve. That's what I've been ragging on the whole time. Is that Juve just hasn't used it as anything. But I wouldn't
Don't
give it to anybody.
Retire it
I
into
wouldn't
the
give it to
Raptors.
anybody. And
Put
the
Del
funny
Piero
thing
on
is,
it.
when you want to talk
Put Del
about
Piero on it.
marketing, they're using it as a marketing ploy. They gave it to a full-time model for us because he sure as fuck didn't play. Pogba got it, and we gave it to a model. It's more marketable for me if you leave it vacant and a guy gets it after 2 or 3 seasons, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, this is who we're laying it on. Fucking awesome. That would be a cool moment. That would be a cool moment to see. But just handing it out anymore, it's just disrespectful, I think, to the guys that have actually rocked it and done it proud. That always talk about those guys. That's why I don't like it being handed out, because the guys that get the 10 always talk about those guys before them, and they haven't fucking done shit to earn it. So
Yeah,
it's kind of stupid.
And like Dybala got it right. He was better as a 21. So don't give it to anybody. Put Del Piero on it or Budge or a bunch of names and just retire it. No one can ever wear it again. That's what I say. No one at Juventus should ever wear the 10 again.
I think that's
Tony-
overboard.
So Anthony, 33, Juve Pulse is suggesting you're a 33, like a Bernardeschi type of player. Berto with the 3. I'm with the 10. No, I'm a solid 18. Easily.
I'm a 10. I wear the
You
10.
can have,
I was
you
always
can
an
have
8.
the 10.
I rock the 10. Give the 10 to
3.
Berto. My man. Okay.
Well, Berto's better as a 3.
Would you say 5'10" center back? I don't know. I don't know about that. Would you sell the worst striker in Serie A, Milik? Oh, come on. And world sensation rapper Moise Kean to bring back Juve legend Alvaro Morata. Morata is killing it. Holy smokes, there's so much to take in here. Worst striker in Serie A, Milik. Sensational rapper. These are all reaches. Legend, Morata, reaches.
Legend. Bring him in. Bring him back.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. If you had to put money, how many chances would you guess Milik puts yesterday? Those Vlahovic chances.
2.
He puts them both on target. So I would say, sorry, the header and the chip.
And the Dušan's chances.
Of all of Dušan's chances, Milik's putting in 2.
It was 3, right? He
4.
He puts 2 in the net.
Yeah, he puts 2 in there. I say he puts 2 in.
He puts 1 in, the last one. He puts the header on net. The chip was with his left foot.
The top of the area, Milik's putting in 100%. Milik's putting that in 100%.
Yeah.
But the legend thing there, oh my God, it's unbelievable. Skanga's burner account wrote that one with the Morata legend. I like that one.
Way down here.
Hey, we can't really go over what Ant kind of did there with the Dybala thing. Did Dybala not do the 10 justice?
He was
I think he did.
I think he did. I think
the only one that's like surprising but not surprising at all is Tevez. I mean, the guy just didn't give a shit. He put on the 10 and just performed right away. Didn't need to earn it or anything.
That was a big fuss too, though, when he got the 10. Everybody's like, "What the? We're giving it to Tevez, whatever." But he did it.
Yeah,
he did it.
But you kind of knew he's going to justify it very fast, and he did. That's like the only like asterisk I have, because everyone like sort of had to earn it and stuff. Even Pogba, I don't know, spent like 3 years at the club before he got it, and that was dumb too. But Tevez, man, that was a sure thing. There are
Paulo
players that
did the
just
10
deserve it.
justice. Dybala
I
was
just
not an iconic 10 for us.
he scored a lot of goals. I just in my head I always see him whenever like I picture him playing. I picture him as a 21
Yeah, that was my favorite version of Paulo. 15, 16, man.
with
16,
the
17.
shaved sides of the head, like the real short cut, short hair on top,
Yeah.
like the comb over. That's 21.
And that woman was the right one for him. He's had some struggles since with the one can't keep fit. Yeah, Vlahovic
Is it the
found
one
himself a
with?
woman 2024.
I think I got
Hey,
Is it the one? Is it the one with the eyebrows?
yeah,
no the one before.
the one before.
No, the one before had eyebrows. The one with the
Guys,
eyebrows is the one without the eyebrows.
so we're getting tight here. Storm the
Shit,
barn. Do you
eyebrows like
guys have
me.
any questions? Something we wanted to tackle here?
I put a couple in the chat. They came in early. Matt sent one in early. Like I'm okay with Allegri subbing out Nonge not to score. Okay, we talked about that. Oh, we got this one. What would be your starting midfield? All right, we got them all.
Sharia, Mandzukic or Tevez?
Oh, you son of a bitch. Well, I got Mandzukic up on the wall. He's over here.
It's really hard to choose, but I gotta say, Mandzukic like surprised me a lot when
He
it came.
did.
I wasn't a huge fan. I thought it was like okay, Bayern and then Atletico. It didn't work out, but he proved us like that's the type of character I wish every player would have.
Like I think they brought something different. Like Tevez was like he was the Apache, right? He was just an absolute assassin. But Mandzukic for me brought more of like the Juventus grinta. He's the one who sort of
Yeah,
not to say Tevez didn't embrace the club, but Mandzukic kind of embodied what we all
The
believe
sacrifice,
Juventus-
man. The just like he
what Juventus
sacrificed
players should
himself.
be. Yeah,
he
not to
was
say
also
Tevez
money.
didn't.
It was
But-
also money time. Like when you needed a goal at a final, at whatever, Mandzukic's going to deliver. Now he didn't have a whole lot of goals with Juve, but I once posted a stat when he left that out of all the games he scored in for Juve, we've won all of them but one. You know which one? It was the final,
Yeah, we know
obviously.
which one. Yeah.
But we didn't lose a match either way when Mandzukic scored.
Man,
That
That's pretty
that
awesome.
guy
I didn't
was
know that.
phenomenal.
Dybala and Tevez killed me, but I always go back to 15, 16. Dybala. I love Tevez. Tevez and Mario.
I'm going Mandzukic here.
No, I thought 16, 17 Dybala was like his best.
Mandzukic is just he's too clutch, man. He's too clutch. He's a fucking warrior. And the ability to get in the other guys' heads. Manzu was one of the absolute best. And nobody fucked around with anybody on the team if Mario was on that pitch. I'm giving the slight edge to Mario. I really am.
He had
But
no
Tevez
friends
was a
on the
freak.
other side of the field. He didn't.
Yeah.
You know, after people are like, "Oh, we're friends," he hated everybody in the other jersey,
Yeah.
and I loved it. I loved
I'll
every second.
second.
I'll take Mario. I'll take Mr. No Good. Give me Mr.
Look,
No Good.
I loved Tevez before he came to Juve. I
Yep.
thought he was a phenomenal player. Mandzukic really won me over like almost immediately, and he was here for longer. So we had a bit more months. It's really hard to choose for me.
Yeah, that's a
I
tough
really-
one, but and it is
I
super
adored them
close.
both.
Like James say, like super close here. What do we talk about? You know, great guys. How many more games does Alcaraz start this season before going back to Southampton? Hey, yeah, well, a lot of rumors about renegotiating for another loan for the player, but I think he's actually going to see a decent amount of starts. We're down to, 11 games left? I wouldn't be surprised if he starts in half of them, to be honest.
I think it's 10 left.
Look, when we signed them, I said here on the show that I don't think like he had 15 games to prove what he's worth, and I didn't think he's going to prove that he's worth 50 million. I still don't think he's worth 50 million, and now he has less time. How much? I mean, would you have signed him after 15 games? I mean, he had to be really phenomenal to justify that price after
Yeah.
15 games.
Yeah, that's why I think I could see a renegotiation on a loan coming in, and then
It's such a. Yep.
Still
I
seeing if
was,
there's a sale. There's a resale clause tied to Alcaraz too, which is why a price tag's going to be hefty, kind of any way you slice it, right?
I don't even know where Southampton is. Are they in the second division? They're in the second division, right over there.
Yeah,
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 So
but that's the maybe the fifth best league in Europe. I mean, the championship is a crazy league. If you ever watched it, you have no idea. It's super tough. 24 teams. It's really high level football. I mean, he's not coming from Serie B. That's
no,
those are
I'm
not the
just
same
saying
level.
that I think we can afford to. For me, he's a player who's already in the building. We're not. I'm not saying we're gonna pay 50 million for him. It's not gonna happen. But he's already in the building. The smart thing to do, and I think they're going to do it, is negotiate an extension for the loan. That's one less person you have to bring in the summer, right? So
yeah.
I think the smart move would be just to extend it. I'm not. I don't even think he would be a starter next year. But he's a body that's already in the building. Considering you're going to lose Pogba, you're probably going to lose Rabiot. So he's
Look,
already
the,
here. Do what you can to extend him.
the thing is, I mean, if Southampton do get promoted to the Premier League, they get more money than the winners of Serie A. So money wouldn't be an issue. I
They
don't
get
see them
they
budging on a
get
player
double.
we want. Yeah. So I mean, it's gonna be hard to negotiate a different fee because they don't really need the money. They don't care.
Now, Marco asked a question before. What do you guys think? Why are we struggling with possession so much since Max is back? Well, it's clearly by design. I just don't think they want to open themselves up. I think he wants to concede as little as possible so that you're in every game. That's as simple as it is for me. There's not enough aggression. There's not enough fight to win that ball control battle unless it's against, the only times we've seen it is against shitty sides and usually when we're at home. And for me, it's not really good enough. But it's
I
it's no doubt to just minimize damage.
I think we're really missing a player who knows what's going on in the field all the time, and that way he can control the play and control the ball. The way Pirlo did, the way even Pjanic did, Modric, De Bruyne, all those guys who always know where everyone are. So it's very hard to keep possession that way. And Max has always been an opportunist. He doesn't like to create millions of chances. Score. He just likes to take the opportunities he have and hit on the counter, hit on I don't know just set pieces or stuff. But he was never the kind of guy like 70% possession, 20 shots, 5 goals. It was never him. He just took the chances he had.
Yeah.
Just being composed and
Now,
using whatever you have.
we got time for probably these last two here. Coop didn't impress me yesterday. I think we need someone like Samardzic. Thoughts? I would love both, to be honest. I like Coop Miners. I have no problems with him. I like Samardzic, though. I really do. But I still think overall, like in general, ready now guys for this team has to be something we're looking at. And it's interesting when you talk about Juntoli, and a lot of the targets are very young, and I'm concerned. I am concerned. I had a good chat with Alex P yesterday, and my concern is that, are we going to keep tipping the scale too young? Because I think we're tipping it already, and it's a serious concern I have with Juntoli. I don't want to completely not like lose balance and just not have ready now guys, because you just brought it up literally right now, Omer, in talking about guys that can control, that understand, that dictate the game. So for me,
I would agree. I think we're overloaded with youngsters right now. I
yeah,
think we need someone who's been around the block, and because the mentality in big games comes from the more senior players, and that's what you are missing this season a bit.
yeah, absolutely. I think you got to have that balance. You absolutely have to have that balance. This many young guys should not be the norm at Juventus. Like, if we're being serious, it's about quality. It's about quality sides, and only the strongest young guys should be making their way onto the first team sheet. Agree, yeah?
We had I think it was last season, or it might have been 2 years ago now, where it's like, oh, we got to integrate more. A lot of people were saying we got to integrate more young players in the lineup. Where all the youngsters, like Allegri hates the youngsters. Now it's like, where are the old guys? We need some of the old guys in there. you're right, dude. Find the balance, and maybe that's why Felipe Anderson. Maybe that's what he's being brought in to do. Well, allegedly, right? He's one of the targets this summer. So
And you got Forza Juve here saying Samardzic isn't a proven winner. That is what we need now. You can't always nab proven winners, though. That's the
what's
thing.
a proven winner? Like, how much is that going to cost?
Well, for me, it's more so in terms of quality and roles. Like, number one, we need to make sure we don't have, like, we can fulfill all the roles. We can't go into another season and be like, oh, who's going to create out of the midfield for us? Who's going to retain the ball for us? Like, no, you have to settle up the roles, but ready now guys. They don't necessarily need to be proven winners because that can be hard to find and expensive sometimes. So it's more so the roles need to be fulfilled on the roster. You got to close the gaps. And again, ready now. We can't have a bunch of guys where you're like, oh, in 4 years' time,
he's going to be great.
No.
He's going to be great next decade. Can't wait till he's 28.
No. Look at this fan base. Look at this. Look at the expectations. Look at the club's standards where they want to hold themselves to, which they need to. We can't be waiting for a whole roster of 3 to 4 years down the road. Like, no. And if we shift this any further on the balance side than where we're at now, we're going to turn into a feeder club. So I'm keeping close eyes on Giuntoli, but ultimately I do have faith in him. And I still stand firm. It's summer 2025 before the reins are, free for him. Any good free agents we should aim for? I like Hermoso. I do. I like Hermoso. Tony Cruz, baby. Tony Cruz. Come on. Let's go. But, yeah, I don't know. Hermoso, I like. I don't mind him. Omer, free agents?
I have no one in mind. I need to look at the list of who's running out of contract. I can't remember anyone now.
I didn't mind Zielinski, to be honest. Inter
actually
obviously
do.
nabbed him.
I actually do. I thought it was a good option, but I don't know. Seeing him play this season, something has changed. He's
Well,
not
it
like the
feels
same
like
player
it
from
feels
last
like
season.
they know he's leaving. He's not even getting the minutes he was before, and they've just kind of like rolled him out, knowing he's not going to be part of their squad anymore. That's what it feels like, anyways, from the
Yeah,
outside.
he had three managers. Maybe that's an order from what's his name, De Laurentiis, to just not play him because he's leaving. I don't
Yeah.
know, but I'm not impressed with him this season. Yeah, no, and he's going to Inter anyway, so even more
Yeah.
reasons to hate him.
I got a storm the barn question.
Mm-hmm.
Do we still hear Berardi rumors even after ruptured Achilles?
I'm surprised we haven't already. I'm surprised they didn't say, oh, he's coming to J Medical for his rehab. Shocked.
The hold my beer moment for Juve.
Oh my God.
Because Lou was like, yeah, we're going to finally stop hearing about Berardi every summer. And no.
Which
hear
two
about it.
players, last one, which two players would you bring from Bologna if you could?
Easily Zirkzee. Just no question. And Calafiori. Calafiori is phenomenal, in my opinion.
Yeah. Calafiore and Orsolini for me. Calafiori, Orsolini. Xerxes, I think
they
we'll be
said.
okay up top. But I know Xerxes, everybody's hot on Xerxes. He's having a phenomenal year. He's a good player. Xerxes and Orsolini. Ferguson and Xerxes. Ferguson, for me, I don't know. He's having a good season.
No, look. Calafiori played left back, and this season he moved to center back, and it's kind of the position we need, so we can push Danilo back to the right. And he's been just great, very smart, young, very young. But he's one of the big reasons why Bologna are good this season. I don't know if it's Mota or it's just him, but he's very smart tactically, and we've been missing some of those players.
Yeah. Now, we got Nick was being kind of mysterious, L'Arbitro Nick yesterday, and just saying, games like this yesterday is one guy in mind that we needed in a game like that. And he still didn't elaborate on who the hell he was talking about. So just for a fun question, Anth, you could pick one guy from Juve historically Who would the one guy be you could see in a game like that yesterday we needed?
Breaking it open.
I guess, yeah. Nick just says this game showed me one guy that we needed. I think he was alluding to actually the guy we were talking about before, Mandzukic, but I don't know 100%.
I was going to say we needed somebody to smack our players in the face. And I'd say Mandzukic would be the one to do it. Because at the back we were fine. You can say some of the big guys that come in and score a goal all you want, but Mandzukic would have walked in there like that video of that one coach walk around slapping all of his players in the change room. That's what we needed yesterday. That's what we needed for 6 games. Davids would have came in and got a red card. Pogba's a good call.
Okay.
Omer, one guy historically
Mandzukic.
we needed.
My first thought was Mandzukic, but it's kind of hard not saying Cristiano. I mean, that's one of the best players in history. That's a born winner. Very hard to give up on him. You know what? Vidal.
Interesting. There's a stat going around on our team, and it's the goals scored, and the midfield's got 5 goals, I believe. 4 of them coming from one player. I think at the back we've got more goals from defenders.
Total, I can give you the numbers right now. 1 second. Hang on.
Yeah, it's just we need to level things out.
We have 42 total goals, 25 from strikers, 1 own goal from the opponent, 8 from the midfield, and 8 from the defense.
So 8 from midfield. Wow.
Yeah. So
but
Rabio has 4.
The question is who is midfield? Cambiasso is midfield. Kostic is midfield.
Has 1. Locatelli has 1. Meretti has 1, and Ailing Jr. has 1.
It kind of flipped. Last season it was the other way around. The attack wasn't producing. The midfield was just getting a lot of goals. And I'm actually shocked McKennie hasn't gotten one yet.
Yeah,
Gatti has 3. Bremer
has
has 2. Rugani has 2. Danilo has 1.
Where are these mids that shooting from range and shit like that? Like I miss having guys that aren't afraid to just have a rip when they get the lane and everything. And it's weird, man. We were getting a lot of goals from midfield through that decade of dominance. And if you look at Inter, that's a big part of them. Like their mids can put the ball in the back of the net. You need that support. You need to balance it out. I think Juve's got some work to do for sure in the midfield still. This is something that's been going for so long now. We can't ignore it any further. So for me, a player, if I have to say, we could have used, I'm still thinking it's going to be out of the middle of the park. And if you're going to go historically, I'll get wild with you. Like a guy like Zidane. Give me Zinedine Zidane. Game's
give me Platini.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to go historically, so I don't know, Nick was just having some fun. He didn't see a lot of fight, and he called our team soft. Do you think our team is soft? Yes or no? Live chat. Is our team soft?
I think they kind of are. Maybe it's the young age, but yeah, they're kind of soft.
Yeah, they are kind of soft.
Okay, I have a question for you.
This will be the last one. Fire, Omer.
Who's the best player to ever play for Juventus, but not like from a Juventus point of view, like worldwide point of view? The best player has been through Juve, and include Platini, Zidane, Ronaldo. It's hard not to say Ronaldo, but football is a bit different in his time.
The best player?
Well, Platini won three Ballon d'Ors in a row.
Yeah, back in the 80s. I still think talent-wise it was Robbie Baggio, but
Robbie would have had 2 if he hit that PK. He won 1, and he was the best player, but he missed that PK, and he should have had 2.
But it doesn't represent anything. That the Ballon d'Ors for me. No, it didn't.
Ronaldo is his own sort of planet, right? He's like a business and a person and a player and a right. He's like a company. He's like a Google in terms of footballers. So he's different. I don't, best when we got Zidane, man, that shook the world. It's like holy shit. Like when we picked him up, I know you guys remember that. That was a big move. So was budget.
A lot of us didn't watch Sivori or all those guys. You know,
but best like what. I don't know, like different eras, man. Completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different. Like trying to compare Platini to CR7 now is just like it's like what are we talking about?
No, it's not comparing the players. It's just the view worldwide. The players that was at his prime, considered the best, played for Juve, and
okay. So you're just saying
way.
outside who is viewed as like it's
historically the best player who passed through Juve.
It would probably be Platini, I think.
I'd probably say Platini.
Yeah,
I'd probably say Platini as far as viewed outside globally. Yeah, but CR7 is probably right there as far as viewed globally. CR7 and Platini probably, if we're talking about just.
But we didn't get Ronaldo in his prime though.
Yeah, that's but it does answer my question. Like the best player to pass through Juve. I don't know. So the top four are Zidane, Platini, Baggio, and Ronaldo.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
That's what it looks like, yeah.
Okay.
Which I think, but Buffon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like Buffon should be in there. He's the best goalkeeper ever. Bar none. And recognized the goal. Like Buffon's probably in there for sure. 5-a-side. You can make a 5-a-side team with these guys. Best viewed. CR7, Baggio, Platini, just in the hole behind them. You could probably throw a guy like Sharea in there. And then Buffon. There you go.
There you go.
Bada bing, bada boom. Guys.
And then you have Alvaro Morata on the bench. You put Alvaro on the bench.
Fuck off with Morata, man. Jesus. What
next
the
to
hell?
the Cellia, sitting next to the Cellia on the bench.
Yeah.
With Peluso and Nezovic.
LDS.
You guys. You and your Morata. And you and your Morata.
Right.
Okay, everybody. Guys, I do want to say thank you to everybody that was part of the watch along yesterday. Was still, despite the result and everything. Like I said, we're not going anywhere. We ride it out. We see. I think there's big changes ahead for Juventus this summer. We all talked about it. Giuntoli's words. Not buying into it. We'll see what happens. But I do believe that change is coming. We'll see what Giuntoli decides. But, we've got a rough March in terms of fixtures. Remember the predictions, guys. I said 7 points. 7 points. I said we were going to drop 1 in the month of March. We already have. Hopefully, that is it. Okay? I would love to get 9 and win out the rest. Atalanta's on deck. You guys know the drill. Live preview. I will do a watch-along. And I'll keep you informed on the news leading up to it. You guys drop a like, share the content, and thank you as always. Live chat, you guys are amazing. And, of course, fino alla fine, forza Juve, sempre, all right? Ciao tutti, take care, we'll talk real soon.
Yeah.